Chaos from start to finish in this Tour de France, quote-unquote sprint stage. This tour has no easy days except for stage 10, of course, but this is from Agen to Po. Po always has a sprint finish, but there was cross tailwind about 20 k's an hour for this stage. Rolling hills, a couple of Cat 4s in a hill zone about 40 k's from the finish, and then a flat sprint finish in Po. COVID is throughout the peloton. Apparently Juan Ayuso had COVID. He started the stage but would abandon after getting promptly dropped in break formation, and the break formation when Mr. Prudhomme put down the flag was chaotic. But look, 4 UAE riders with the yellow helmets in shot, and only one Visma Lease bike rider when that break formation starts, and it's Jonas Vingegaard. He's at the front, the only rider from Visma, trying to manage or control break formation on these rolling hills himself. This is him jumping behind Campenaerts in the Lotto Destiny rider. So UAE were right there, and then Kwiatkowski and Gregoire rip it. The elastic begins to snap, and Adam Yates is the UAE rider just jumping across while UAE are letting the wheel go at the front of the peloton. Tratnik sees the UAE helmet and jumps across as well. But Jan Tratnik being in the break doesn't help you when Adam Yates is about an hour ahead of him on GC. No one knows what's going on. Splits happen, and it's true. It's not Marc Soler, it's Adam Yates in the breakaway, about 9th on GC on 7 minutes. Visma start to chase full gas, but when you think about it, Yates really isn't their problem. Like, Jayco start to pace as well for the stage win. You know, he's more of a threat to the podium of Rodriguez, but when riders get into these big rouleur breakaways, they can get out of control quickly. But Ineos put Turner to chase. Jayco is still chasing with Mezgec, and Lampart's there for Soudal Quick-Step to chase, again protecting Remco Evenepoel's podium spot. So in theory, it is kind of all under control. There's nothing to worry about. With so many teams helping control Yates, he's going to get attacked anyway, but then Van Aert tries to split it on this hill. You can see Pogacar screaming at Almeida to sprint, to go, because he's behind Almeida. If Almeida drops the wheel, Pogacar's in a whole spot of bother. So I don't know if Visma were just trying to put Pogacar off the back, or they were trying to jump across. Remco Evenepoel is the last man to make that split. He's this little speck in the helicopter shot who makes it across himself. Very, very impressive. And then he's actually immediately pulling through himself in the next shot. And Rodriguez misses it. Almeida makes it. Happy days for UAE and Pogacar. He's got a teammate. He's in the split himself. He's got Adam Yates ahead. And now Visma are in a chasse patate. Vingegaard's saying to everyone else, pull through. But Laporte's on the radio saying, well, now the people that were helping us chase, Ineos and Quick-Step, they're off the back chasing absolutely full gas. The rouleurs in front are pacing full gas. Tratnik got dropped back. Turner's having to do a full gas effort. And so it all comes back together, groups 2 and 3, and they're no closer to Adam Yates. Fortunately for Visma and Ineos and Quick-Step, indeed, a whole number of teams roll through. So when we saw Decathlon, Cofidis, Arkea, all those teams chasing as well, there was no chance that Yates was actually going to get, like a 15-minute gap or pull a Sepkus Havalambre style raid. And indeed, the breakaway also stops pulling so committedly with Yates, because look at the gap to the peloton. It actually starts to go down when those teams get it all together. And so if you want to win from this break, the only solution is to get away from Adam Yates. He's the anchor tying you down to the peloton. Otherwise, the peloton normally would just let you all go. Jayco aren't going to chase the whole day. Kwiatkowski does. Court begins the Fuga de la Fuga. Kwiatkowski, Gregoire, and Julien Bernard join him. Alpecin miss it. EF miss it. Lotto miss it. But Alpecin have still got Philipsen in the group behind. He can win the sprint. And Dali doesn't want to burn all his legs because we've got this important crosswind section coming up. Left turn after a village where it can be strung out in a line at 60 k's to go, and Visma try to split it, or do split it, in the crosswinds. Pogacar's right there with all his UAE teammates around him, Pollitt and Soler chopping off. Remco absolutely at home in the crosswinds, probably the racing he almost likes the most, the Aero Bullet, and there's splits everywhere. Again, no one really misses it, but Pogacar, just watch. He's looking to see, where's Vingegaard? Is he not right on my wheel? All right, and Vingegaard does make it into this little split, the last man, and Pogacar starts absolutely drilling it. So there is a bit of an interplay between Pogacar and Vingegaard throughout this stage. There's these jabs always being thrown. UAE and Visma are testing each other, even on a sprint stage like this. The Group 2 eventually comes back because there was no one dropped of real importance, like Philipsen or a GC rider, but the floodgates have opened. Carapaz attacks with Johannesson. There's a lack of control in the peloton. We've got these rolling hills, so these sort of escapes are a really good chance, although Sylvain Dillier for Philipsen starts to pace. And what other sprinters do we have in this group? Biniam Girmay in the green jersey, although Intermarché don't need to do anything or help, while Van Aert, as well as Pascal Ackermann, who's been in very, very good shape this Tour de France so far. But on these hills, Lotto Destiny for Arnaud Delis try to make it as hard as possible, perhaps to sap the legs of the pure sprinters like Jasper Philipsen. They've got Brent Van Moer, Maxim Van Hils, Campenaerts, but the attacks keep flying. Jasper Stuyven with Grelier and Brent Van Moer, but it's good tactics from Lotto Destiny. Now they don't have to chase. Visma start chasing full gas. That means they're interested in something more than keeping Vingegaard safe. They're going for the stage win, particularly when Laporte jumps with Mathieu Bergadeau. He jumps with him, and they quickly get across to Stuyven and Brent Van Moer. And Laporte's the strongest sprinter in that group, but he doesn't pull. Campenaerts tries to counter again with Van Aert in his wheel, and again, watch Pogacar. Vingegaard was in that line. Pogacar sprints, thinking a gap might be opening up, and he's looking back. Who does he see? Vingegaard in the wind, not on a teammate's wheel, having to bridge himself up against Campenaerts pulling at about probably 65 kilometers an hour on a false flat downhill that was the run into the finish. Laporte marks the last Stuyven move, and so we are going to go to a sprint, 5Ks to go, UAE on the front, locking it down with Niels Pollitt, and they don't pull off. Pogacar's still there. So it looked like, and he did, he'll go for the sprint. Intermarché spring to the front, going for Biniam Girmay. And here's the most controversial moment at the stage. Capio pulls off, looks to his left, the lead-out man for Demar, and swings left, but still leaving enough space initially on both sides for Van Gils to move. He'd already decided he was going to bring Delis up the left-hand side for the lead-out. There is still space here on the left to the barriers. And then you see Capio looks over his right shoulder and continues to drift left towards the barriers. And he's basically shut the door on Maxim Van Gils, who, when he decided to jump that gap, there was plenty of space. So Capio looking over shoulders multiple times, drifting in two separate movements towards the barriers after finishing his lead out. In my opinion, it's Capio's fault almost 100%. The front-on shot probably doesn't show how the barriers were coming in, and Van Gils had to angle his body, at least he thought, to being shut into the barriers at 60 km an hour. Laporte does the lead out, but ends a bit too early at 300 meters to go. Philipsen jumps from the back and in a reduced group without being boxed in after a hard day in the crosswinds and a few hills. Jasper Philipsen shows that he is the fastest sprinter still in this Tour de France, winning the stage ahead of Wout van Aert, then Pascal Ackermann, Biniam Girmay, ever consistent in fourth, then Arndt Wellens, Rousseau, Coquard, Pogacar, and Varnskol. It's all to play for now as we go into the Pyrenees tomorrow for two brutal stages on Saturday and Sunday. Hope you enjoy the video. I'll see you at the recap of them then. Ciao.